Hello, everybody. Here is your instructor for today, Chuck. Chuck will be your yoga instructor. So I hope everybody is doing well. I am just a little over 3 weeks post-op from my double mastectomy. The reconstruction process has begun, so that's been interesting. So I'm here to make one more video, probably the last one in this series. But I have some ideas for some other things too, but later after I recover. So this is going to be my last one for this series. So my goal here is really just to give you, since we still have, for me, my surgery was 3 weeks ago, and they tell us 6 to 8 weeks, no strenuous exercise and nothing, lifting nothing over 10 pounds, right? So I still have another 3 to 5 weeks of not doing anything weight bearing with my yoga, and exerting myself. So I'm trying not to get to the point where I'm sweating or my heart rate's getting up. So this is just designed as a 20 or 30-minute little practice that you can do from here on out, just a couple times a week or however often you want. Just some ideas. So those of you who may be experienced at yoga, you probably have a good idea of what you should and shouldn't do, what you can and can't do. So this is really designed for people who don't know much about yoga, who are beginners. And I will also offer modifications, and I will do some of this sitting as well. So you're certainly welcome to be seated for some of these poses. So today, I should mention, I have a little bit of a setback. So apparently there's this thing called cording that when you have lymph nodes removed, this can happen to your muscle. I'm not exactly sure exactly what it is, but I can't, it's getting worse, and I can't really lift this arm over my head much without some pain. So if you see this arm just kind of coming up halfway, that's why. Actually extending it all the way out sometimes hurts. So this arm I may not be doing a whole lot with. I'll try. I have to go to physical therapy that starts the next week, but I'm sure they're going to just have me doing this. So I will do my best. So today we're going to start actually on our backs. A couple of options here. Just for the practice, you might want to have blocks if you have blocks, or even just like a couple of books, like 2 books the same size if you don't have blocks, a strap, a yoga strap, or a belt, or something not stretchy, not something that can snap back. And then I also have a bolster, but you can use a pillow, whatever you want. So we're going to start on our backs any way you want. So you are welcome to keep your knees bent. You just want to be able to totally relax here. So if having your feet on the floor is good, you can even shove this nice little bolster underneath, or a pillow underneath your knees. If that allows you to turn upwards, if that allows you to relax even more, you just want to be able to let it all go. Or your legs simply straight out in front of you. So move that to this. Legs straight out in front of you, kind of like we end typically in Shavasana. I'm going to start in Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana, which I'm going to put the soles of my feet together. So this is a little challenge if you want to stretch your inner thighs. And I'm just going to slowly lower myself down and keep the soles of my feet together and just let my knees fall open. Just feels good to stretch the inner thighs here. If this is, you can also shove blocks underneath your knees if it's too much, so that you can just let yourself totally relax. So once you get in your position, just let it all go. Take a deep breath in and let it out, big sigh. So just forget about what you've done today. Forget about what you still have to do. Just really try to be in the present, here and now, with your body as it's healing. I'm just kind of in awe at how the body just heals itself and we don't have to do anything. Just let it all go, relax. Relax your face, relax your jaw muscles. Sometimes you clench. Keep your shoulders nice and soft down away from your ears. Let your belly go. Let your legs go, relax, your feet totally relaxed. And just think about, how does it feel to be here? Relaxing, feeling. Feels pretty good to me. So for a breathing practice today, we're just going to really pay attention to what happens when we breathe in deeply. So this is, in yoga, we talk about a 3-part breath. So just start, you don't have to do this, but just start by, if you want, putting your hands just kind of on your belly. And when you breathe in really deep, just feel your belly expand. And then when you exhale, feel it contract. So just take a couple of really deep breaths, just feeling that. How does it feel in your belly? Belly expands, constricts, the out breath. Now take your hands and move them up to your rib cage. So we're going to feel, when we take a deep breath, what happens to our ribs when we breathe in. So take a deep breath in, you feel the ribs kind of separate. And when you exhale, you feel those intercostal muscles between the ribs relax. But just take a couple of really deep breaths and just really focus on, how does that feel? Is your rib cage expanding, contracting? Next, we're going to take our hands up to our collarbones, so our clavicles, and we're going to feel what happens when the tops of our lungs, the upper part of our lungs expand. You can feel the collarbones kind of shift a little bit. So take a deep breath in and just feel the top of your chest, your collarbones, just feel that air coming in as your lungs inflate. And then exhale, feel the upper part of the lungs contract. And then you can release your hands or put them back on your belly or wherever is comfortable. And just take a few more of those, just really feeling the air come up through your belly, rib cage, clavicles, and then on the exhale, it comes out clavicles, rib cage, belly. Just 3 nice deep breaths here. And then just return to your normal breathing. Take a couple, just another moment here, just totally relaxed, just enjoying this time that's just for you. Nothing else to think about right now, nothing else to do. And then when you're ready, if you have your legs in Baddha Konasana like I do, take your hands and just kind of close your knees together like a book. If you have your legs out straight or you have the bolster under your knees, just move your props to the side, whatever props you have, and we'll just come to a comfortable cross-legged seat. Or you can have your legs out in front of you if that's more comfortable. So we're just going to start with a series of just stretch or warming up our upper body, So let's just start with some neck roll. So chin to chest. And then inhale, take your right ear to your right shoulder and just keep it there. You can do a couple of things here. You know, just stay right here. You can extend your left hand out to the floor and get more of a stretch just up the side of your neck. And also take your right hand and just gently, you're not pushing it down, just gently guiding that your head down a little bit further if you want to increase that stretch. Try to keep both of your sit bones on the ground so you're not leaning. And then come back up to center, and then we'll take that to the other side. So first we'll chin to chest again. And we'll gently roll our head to the left ear to left shoulder. Right arm can come out next to you. That feels good. If you want a little bit more, you can take the left hand and just gently push the head. And then exhale, release. Nice job. Let's just do some shoulder rolls. So in your inhale, bring the shoulders up toward your ears. Exhale, bring them down, back. Inhale up. Exhale back. And you might want to do one at a time here. Might want to do one at a time here if that feels better. You can do that. I'm being very mindful of my incisions and my I opted for reconstruction, so that whole process has begun, and so I'm a little bit sore from that as well. So just do we don't want any pain, no pain. A little stretching is okay, but no pain, and certainly no tearing or anything of incisions. Okay, so let's roll out our wrists. Roll them out. Even though we're not going to be really using our wrists today for yoga, if you've been typing on the computer, it just feels good to shake them out, roll them out. And then we're just going to swing our legs around and we're going to come into child's pose. So we're going to come down onto our knees. Your knees can be together, or you can bring the knees out towards the side of the mat. We're not going to be putting any weight on our hands, but we're going to slowly lower our head. If you want to try to stretch your arms out in front of you, that's great. I cannot do that. So my elbows are going to, or my forearms are going to stay on the mat. And I am going to use a block for under my forehead, but your forehead might find the mat too, if that's comfortable. Actually, do that. But I'm just going to use a block just so you can see. Put my forehead on the block. And just relax and know that this is a resting pose. You can come to this pose anytime you need a break. Just take a few breaths here. And then maybe as you recover, maybe as you heal, your arms come out a little bit more. Maybe your head comes down to the mat. But we'll get there slowly but surely. So just walk yourself up, and then we're going to come to a stand. So nice and gently. So sun salutations. Well, first let's do a couple of standing poses. Then we're going to do some sun salutations because they're really good. I'm going to adjust the camera because you can't see my head. There we go. Because sun salutations are really good for getting the blood flowing, but they also involve some yogi push-ups, which we are not going to do. So we're going to do those without the yogi push-ups, but just to get the blood flowing. And I'm just going to face you. So stand nice and steady, your feet about hip distance apart. Just really settle in with your feet, maybe even spread your toes out. So every toe is on the mat. Both sides of your heels are on the mat. You don't want your legs locked, so a gentle, tiny bend in the knees. Stand up nice and straight. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears, maybe back just a little bit. And just feel what it's like to just stand here. You can keep your arms out at your sides. This is our basic standing pose, mountain pose. So this next standing sequence, we're going to start here, and I'm going to demonstrate this seated as well. So the first thing we're going to do is take our arms up nice and slow over our head if you can. You can also just bring them to the shoulders if that's as far as you need to go today or you want to go. But if you want to try to bring them up over your head, that's fantastic. So keeping your hips where they are, keeping the lower body where they are. I'm going to put my hands on my shoulders. We're going to twist to the right. So again, we're not moving our hips. We're not moving our feet. We're just moving our waist, but we're getting a little bit of a twist. So arms can be out straight here if you prefer, or simply on your shoulders, or you can just have them on your hips too. And then inhale, come back to center, and we're going to do that to the other side. So inhale to the left. So arms either out straight or on your shoulders. Again, we're keeping our lower body where it is. And then exhale back to center. Now we're going to do some side bends. So again, if it doesn't feel good to bring your arms up over your head yet, keep them on your shoulders. You can keep them on your hips for this. So I think I'm going to do shoulders. So we're going to take a quick just side bend to the right. So you're just leaning a little bit to the right. You're not moving forward or backwards. Just try to stay sort of, keep your body in a nice straight line, but we're just getting a nice stretch up the left side here. Now you can do this with your arms overhead, but that's not good for me right now. Again, just have your hands on your hips too. And then inhale, come up, and then to the other side. Feel that stretch up the right side, feels good. Again, you can do this seated. Definitely do this seated. And then come up. Okay, so for our half sun salutation, we're going to go really, really slow. And I'm going to turn this way actually to show you this. You might want to have blocks or your books handy. You know, if you have two books of the same height, you can use those like blocks. I'm going to use blocks again because this arm is really not, it's just getting worse. And so I'm really looking forward to the physical therapy on that side. But we're going to be doing some forward folds and just trying to get the blood flowing a little bit. You can do this as many times as you want. Again, please don't exert yourself. Go nice and slow. We're not trying to work up a sweat here. We're just getting the blood flowing. Okay. The first thing, and then I'll demonstrate this seated as well. So first thing we're going to do is bring our arms up over our head if that feels good, or just to our shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in. And our exhale, we're going to bend at the waist, and we're going to come down towards the ground. So hands may find the blocks here. If you'd like to go for the mat, definitely go for the mat, or your shins. You can grasp your shins. I'm using the blocks because, again, it doesn't feel good to keep this arm to be out straight. And you don't have to fold very far. You can keep your knees bent a little bit if that feels good. But just so you're getting a nice stretch up the hamstrings. And then inhale, look up. We're going to come up into sort of like a halfway lift. So, well, we are in halfway lift. So your spine is parallel to the floor. Your legs are still straight. And you're looking slightly ahead to the top of your mat. And then exhale, we're going to fold again. And then bend your knees. Inhale, we're going to really, really slowly come up to stand. One vertebra at a time. We don't want to get dizzy. And then arms either come up overhead or to our shoulders. And then either palms to hands to heart center or down by your side. Okay, so let's take that again a little bit. We're still going very slow, but just without the instruction. So on your inhale, arms up, however is comfortable. Exhale, fold forward, blocks. Try to get to the mat if that feels good. Wherever feels good. Inhale, come up halfway. So spine is nice and straight. Exhale, fold again. And then inhale, slowly bend the knees. Slowly come up. Either arms overhead, hands to heart center, down or down by your side. And again, you can do as many of these as you want, but again, do not exert yourself. I'm going to demonstrate that seated. So if you are choosing to do this seated, you definitely do it. So certainly you could do those twists that we did. You could do those seated. You can do the side bend seated. But for our little mini sun salutation, so keep your feet about hip distance apart. And again, we're going to bring our arms up over our head or to our shoulders, wherever is comfortable. And then we're going to fold forward. So bending at the waist, your hands may come to your shins here. Maybe they rest on your feet. Maybe it feels good to put them on the floor. You don't have to come down very far. Again, you're still getting a stretch in your hamstrings if you're seated. And then we're going to come to that halfway lift. So lifting up so our spine is nice and straight. Then we're going to fold forward again. And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring our arms up as far as is comfortable. And then hands to heart center or hands down by your side. Okay, so that's your half sun salutation. The whole thing involves, like I said, yogi push-ups, and we're not doing those. So we're just going to take it easy today. All right, so we're going to build up a little strength in the lower body. I desperately need this, but again, we're not exerting ourselves. So if this is too much, if your heart rate is getting too high, if you feel like I can't handle this, by all means, don't do it. So I'm a yoga teacher, I'm experienced. So what may seem kind of natural for me is not natural for everybody. So just listen to your body and do whatever you can. Okay, so for this first little standing sequence, we're going to bend our knees and we're going to pretend like we're sitting in a chair. So arms can come out in front of you. That's comfortable, or they can stay on your hips. Sometimes people put their arms up over their head when they do this pose, but we're just going to hold this for a minute. You can do this seated. So if you're sitting down, maybe see if you can just lift up a little bit from your seat and just hold it. And you know you have your seat there. We're just going to hold this for a couple of breaths. Take breaks if you have to. But we're building up strength in those quads. And then exhale, come back up, nice and slow. We're going to step the right foot back. So our right toes are facing at an angle here, about 45 degrees, and the weight is on the back edge of this foot. And we're going to bend our front knee. We're going to keep our hips towards the direction we're facing as much as we can. And this is warrior one. So again, it's building up heat here, building up some strength. Hands can stay here. You can bring your hands to heart center. And even bring them up over your head and your shoulders. Woo! I'm feeling this already. Yeah, I've lost a lot of lower body strength. This is good for me. Okay, one more breath here. And then we're going to keep our legs just as they are, and we're going to come into warrior two. So we're going to bring our arms out. Again, I'm just going to kind of do mine at a T, because it hurts to keep this arm straight. So arms at a T, and we're just going to look over the right shoulder. Again, feeling it in this leg, and also a little bit in here. I can do this arm actually. Couple of breaths here. And then exhale, come back up. Woo! Now we're going to turn towards the side of our mat and keep your toes pointed out just a little bit, heels in. And we're just going to take just some mini squats. We call this goddess. So we're just going to squat down as far as is comfortable and then come back up. I'm just going to do this a couple of times. You can always, hold it here if that feels good to just build up some strength. That's Pippi. Come back up. Back up. And come back up as many times as you want. Let's parallel our feet to the top and bottom of the mat. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So spread your feet out, quite a bit here. And hands on your hips, just very slowly. We're going to fold. Again, you might want your blocks here. We're just going to fold and again, stretch the hamstrings. But it's just a little bit of different sensation with our legs out like this. Hands can stay on your hips. They can find the blocks. They can find the mat. I'm going to do a little bit of one of the stretches that the OT recommended. I'm clasping my palms behind me. And as I do my fold, I'm going to slowly lift my arms up and back just to get a little bit of a shoulder stretch. But do whatever's comfortable. And then exhale, slowly let your arms go. Put your hands back on your hips. Slowly come back up, nice and slow. Again, we don't want to get dizzy. Good job. So now we're going to turn and face the other direction. We're going to do that on the other leg. So feet about hip distance apart. And again, we're going to sit in our chair. So bend the knees, or if you're seated, you can just bring your bum up just a little bit, and then arms either out in front of you or up over your head, or at your chest. Yeah, we're doing this. Again, building up the strength here. Nice deep breaths. I'm shaking already. Exhale, stand up. This time we're going to bring the left leg back. We're going to do our warrior 1 and 2 on the other side. So this time our right knee is bent in front of us, left toes. The toes are coming out at an angle here. And then we're going to square our hips the direction we're facing and lean into that front knee. Make sure you can see your big toe in front of your knee. You don't want your knee to be holding in. Nice and straight, shoulders down away from your ears. Any arm variation, hips, hands to heart center. You can bring your hands up. Woo. Nice. One more breath. And then exhale, we're going to keep our legs just as they are. We're going to open up into warrior 2. Again, I'm going to keep this arm bent. And we're going to look to our left. Sorry, to our right. To our left. I'm trying to mirror you, and I get confused sometimes. Whichever direction you're facing. And then exhale, bring the toes and the heels in. So the heels are slightly in, toes are slightly out. We're just going to take a couple more of those squats, up and down. If you can get a little bit lower with each one, and do as many of these as feels good. I'm going to do one more. Instead of our forward, we already did the forward fold. I think we'll just do some side lunges here. So just lunging to either side, keeping both feet on the floor. And in yoga, sometimes we come all the way down to the ground. That's a little strenuous. I'm just going to gently bend each knee, stretching the inner thigh. Just a couple of times on each side. And exhale, come back up. All right, a little bit of balance. So balance, very important. So tree pose is one that's very common, but I'll show a variation. You can be close to a wall or something here. You can certainly hold on or just be really close so that if you feel yourself fall, you can hold on to something. You could even have a block here, maybe if you want it. So tree pose. So we're going to start by standing on the left leg. We're going to take our right toes, so you can see, and bring our right toes right here next to the arch of our left foot. And the key on this pose is to bring the knee out. So it really doesn't matter where your right foot is. You want to keep this knee out. So we're opening up our hips. So stay right here. You can even, if you want, put this foot on a block. You could bring the foot up just to your thigh level. So this is a little bit more challenging on your balance. Some people, we bring it all the way up to the thigh and hold it. Again, you don't have to be here, but the key is, doesn't matter where the foot is, just keep the knee open and don't put it on your knee. Don't put the foot on the knee. So wherever you are, I'm just gonna stay here. Oops, see, if you fall out, just get right back in. If you don't like this, you can just simply lift that right knee in front of you, or just stick it out in front of you, just so you're kind of balancing, getting a little bit of balance practice on that left leg. So whatever you prefer. 2 more breaths. And this really works the opposite leg too. And then let it go, shake it out. Yeah, it really works the glutes of the standing leg. Okay, so let's take that on the other side. Again, same thing. Doesn't matter where your left foot is at this point. It can stay right here. Just keep the knee out. So we can go here. We can go up to the shin. Just, we don't want the knee. Or, yeah, if you want to go for all the way up on the thigh, you can certainly do that. But I'm just going to keep mine here today. I don't want to exert myself too much. And it's really funny. Your balance can be very different. See, like, I'm wobbling it. So my balance is not as good on this leg. I have to work harder. And then, of course, if you want to just lift the knee up or stick it out, stick the leg out in front of you, just so you're balancing on that right leg. Woo! Good. Yeah, I need to work on that, obviously. Okay, shake it out. Good job. So that was our balance. Okay, we're going to come down to our seat here and just do a few sitting poses, some hamstring stretches, and then we'll come down to our backs. So sit just with your legs out in front of you if it's comfortable. You can have a little bend in your knees, and then sit straight up with your shoulders down away from your ears. Maybe your hands just find the mat. This is actually quite a bit of work, sitting like this, upright. If you sat like this for a while, you get tired. But it's really good for your spine. I'm actually feeling it in my quads here. I'm just going to hold this for a couple of breaths. Nice. Okay, now take the left foot and you're going to bring it next to the right knee. So you're going to bend the left knee. You can also cross it over if that feels good too, but you just want to keep it here. And then we're just going to take our knee and kind of hug it in towards us, not pulling too hard, because again, we want to be careful of our upper body. So we're not really pulling, we're just kind of supporting. And then just sit up again nice and straight. And then keeping your right hand on the knee, bring the left fingers around to the back. So we come into kind of a twist here. And don't push it, just explore range of motion. And then exhale, slowly come back to center. And then stretch that leg out long, maybe shake it out. Now we'll take the other foot in, grab the right knee, sit up nice and straight. And then either keeping the foot right next to the left knee or crossing it over. I'll cross it over this time. We're going to take our twist to the right. So right fingers come behind and just use your left arm to hold that knee so you can leverage yourself into your twist. And then exhale, really slowly come back around. Spread your knees out, shake them out, maybe plant the soles of your feet, use some windshield wipers. Now we're going to do a seated forward fold. So again, a little bit more with the hamstrings. You can use your strap here. I think I'm going to use a strap. I don't want to get my arms out straight, so like trying to touch my toes, because that hurts. So I'm going to use my strap here, and I'm just going to keep my feet together. Put the strap just around the balls of my feet rather than the arch. So I don't know if you can see this. I can't get back any further, but I've got the strap. I'm all dressed in purple, and this is purple, so it's probably hard to see. Anyway, didn't plan that very well. So you're just holding on to the strap, sitting up nice and straight, and right, baby. And we're just going to take a little fold over as far as is comfortable. You may not go very far, and that's fine. Again, I can't really extend this arm, so I'm just holding onto my strap. Maybe you find your toes. Maybe your hands come down next to you on the mat, or maybe you just keep them on the strap. Let's take a few breaths here. Maybe with each exhale, you can get a little bit lower. And then inhale, let it go, release your strap, and shake your legs out. There are lots of other hamstring stretches you can do seated. I think in my last video, or one of the ones I did before, you can take one leg out, bring this one in, and then fold over this leg, and then do the other leg, same thing. Or, both legs out, stretching, trying to find your toes, whatever's comfortable for you. So now I'm going to take that Baddha Konasana that I started in. So I'm going to put the soles of my feet together. And if you have, if less intense, your feet are more out in front of you, a little bit more intense, you'll bring your heels closer to your body. And I'm going to sit up. I'm just going to rock so that I get my sit bones on the ground. Sit up nice and straight. If you want blocks under your knees, you can certainly do that. And then I'm going to fold forward. Maybe my elbows on the ground. But again, we're stretching out our inner thighs here. And then inhale, slowly come back up. You can release your blocks, release your feet, and we're going to come down onto our backs. So we like to do inversions in yoga, but a lot of them we can't do because of our, we can't put any straight or any, what's the word? I'm losing it. We can't abuse our upper bodies, in other words. So I'm just going to come back down to my back, and I'm just going to bring my legs straight up. So your knees can be bent here if that's more comfortable, or you can keep them straight. You flex your feet and point them. Maybe you alternate flexing and pointing. Your hands can just rest on your thighs or just down next to you on the mat. We're just kind of getting the blood flowing, getting the feet above the heart. It's good for a lot of things. Take breaks if you have to. Just gonna do 5 more breaths. You can also do this against a wall. Good job. Now let's bend our knees, plant the soles of our feet on the mat, and we're going to bring our heels in close to our bum, as close as possible. We're going to do some couple rounds of bridge pose. So arms just down by your sides. We're going to slowly push our hips up off the mat. So we are kind of resting on our shoulders, but we're not really putting any weight on them here. The weight is really in our feet and actually kind of on the back of our head. But you don't want to be using your shoulder muscles here, or you don't want to bear any weight on them. And then exhale, come back down. Let's do that 2 more times. So inhale, hips come up. Maybe your arms clasp underneath you. Exhale, let it go. 1 more time. Inhale. Even be fancy and practice with lifting one leg. But this is kind of exerted, so don't do this if it's too much. That's a little probably that's pushing it probably a little bit. I'm just showing off. Sorry. It shouldn't be a show off. And then let it go. Nice job. Bring your knees into your chest and just give them a hug. Maybe rock side to side. That feels so good on the low back. Giving your low back a massage. And we're just going to do some supine twists before we wrap things up. So as you're rocking, just roll over to a side. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to roll over to my right first. And I'm going to keep my knees up close to me, knees bent. And whatever you want to do with your arms, you can put your arms out at a T next to you if that feels good. You can also just kind of keep your arms just on your left thigh here. But if you'd like to get more of a stretch, turn your head to the left. You're in kind of a twist. And then inhale, bring the knees back up to center. And then down to the other side. Either keep your hands on your quad, but look over the other shoulder. That feels really good. And then exhale, come back to center. And then we'll end the way we began. So if you'd like to put your bolster back under your knees, if you started with your knees bent, you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to do the Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together. You can extend your legs out long. Sorry, Pippi, stop, bud. I don't want to kick you. Extend your legs out long. I think I'm going to do that for my Shavasana. So this is the most, really kind of the most important point of the yoga practice, is here we get to just experience what we feel after moving and just enjoy that the great feeling of having moved your body, stretched a little bit, getting the blood flowing, your shoulders down away from your ears. Let your belly go. Relax your feet. Maybe go out to the side a little bit. Try to relax the muscles in your face. And stay here as long as you want. I'm just going to take about 5 to 8 breaths. Again, stay here as long as you want. It's your time. If you're ready to move on, just wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. Bring the soles of your feet onto the mat and just sort of rock side to side a little bit. And then rolling over to one side or the other, it doesn't matter which one. You're just going to slowly push yourself up. Again, trying not to use too much weight on your upper body. And come to a seat and we will close. So this is a practice that you can do a couple times a week if that feels good, or every day if that feels good. Modify it as you wish, but again, just a practice for getting the blood flowing, for stretching. I think we touched on pretty much every muscle group of the body there, but no weight bearing on the upper body. So I hope these videos have been useful for you. It's been really great for me to make them. Not only has it helped me a lot, but I really enjoyed actually teaching through this. So this has been a gift to me. So I wish you all the best in your recovery. And we're survivors. We are strong. We are doing this. I'm so proud of us. You're amazing. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Come on, baby. Can you say goodbye? Oh, I don't know where he went. Bye. Thank you.